Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we rummage around in the clearance bin and find an oversized Doonesbury t-shirt, a misprinted Garfield calendar, and a Nintendo game. You know Bagoo? Then I can help you cross, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society knows Bagoo with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. Can I tell you something that's happening to me recently?
Mm.
So I started going gray when I was like 25 years old.
Yes.
But in the past year, I would say that it's accelerated noticeably. So now, like, I have a beard and mustache, and they are like pretty prominently gray.
Yeah, I'd say you're going gray in a like Reed Richards kind of way, like graying like around the temples and in the beard.
Yeah, no, I'm totally hot.
Yeah.
But I am.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm smoking, but I am going gray. And one thing that is causing with like my mustache is sometimes like I'm looking down my nose and I see little things like poking out that are like white, and I'm like, oh, is there like something on my nose? Is there, like grossness on my nose? Like, what is happening?
Sometimes a white hair can be different in texture.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
It can be like wiry.
Yeah, so it's just something that I've been catching a lot lately, where I'm just like, oh, is that? Oh no, it's my gray, beautiful but graying mustache.
I occasionally have a gray or white hair that just springs from my ear.
Oh,
and I don't like that. There's nothing.
And it's pretty long, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about because you've seen it across the table from you on Monday and Wednesday evenings.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to you at the movies. It's poking me.
Oh yeah, I'm like long, like a yard at least. Mark, we're not talking about hair today. We are talking about cheap Nintendo games. But before we do, just want to shout out, of course, the Patreon, where if you are supporting us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you can join us on miniseries like NCS at the movies.
Yeah, where Patrick and I are going to see movies together, sometimes with a special guest, sometimes with his ear hair tickling me during the film. And
it's
then
a feature, not a bug.
And then we're talking about them. We so far have seen 3 movies. We saw Superman and talked about it with special guest Ryan Mogi. We saw The Fantastic Four: First Steps and talked about it with Mikey McCullough. And we just saw The Naked Gun and talked about it with Catherine Malloy. Those are all super fun episodes. You can get in the Discord and check those out. And also past miniseries as well, where we've played games we've never beaten before. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, and I know you said Discord, you meant Patreon.
I did mean Patreon.
Everyone else knew too. I didn't need to correct you for their sake. I needed to correct you for my sake.
And for my sake.
And for your, yes.
Because what if that was just like the start of something and I was constantly calling Patreon Discord?
How would we recover?
Yeah.
So check that out if it is of interest to you. But speaking of the Discord, that is a place where you should be. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com.
We'll send you an invitation, and you can hang out with us while we talk about stuff. There either is or was a Nintendo an Indie World Showcase this morning as of this episode's release, and you can bet we're in there chatting about it as it's happening. We will be talking about that direct on the show next week on our Tuesday news episode. So, not an immediate turnaround. Mark, do you think there's going to be anything there that's going to like blow us away that we will kick ourselves for not being able to talk about immediately?
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so too. Like a Cadence of Hyrule 2. Why did they stop doing that?
Yeah, that was a fun little moment that we had there.
Yeah, where they teamed up with like an indie developer to make one of like an indie developer's game, but using Nintendo IP.
Yeah.
Why did they stop doing that?
I mean, yeah, why did they start? It was just like a one and done, seemingly.
Yeah, totally valid questions, both. But that's not what this episode is about. Although I suppose we could talk about Cadence of Hyrule.
Oh, it's not on my list, though.
It's not on my list either.
But we did just talk about it.
Okay, great. Good. All right, Mark, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about budget Nintendo titles. And the reason for the season here, of course, is Drag X Drive, colloquially known as Drag and Drive, which is a $20 game. It is a pretty cheap title, especially as Nintendo games are posting higher and higher prices, $70, $80, what have you. And so we thought it would be fun to just kind of like look back on our favorite budget titles. And what I think for me, what makes this kind of like a tough thing, there are two things that make this tough. One is that I feel like the internet is not good at like logging historical pricing on
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, I completely agree with you.
That like you want to be like, hey, how much did Super Mario RPG cost when it originally came out? I remember it being expensive, and it's like, was it $70? Was it $90?
I feel like it'd be great if a hero amongst us
Yes.
would start adding that to every
And a
Wikipedia
hero comes
entry
along,
for a video game.
look inside
Is put the
you
original
and be
MSRP.
strong.
Even you can do it in different regions.
Yeah, of course you could.
I would love to know that information. Yeah, it's really hard to track down.
It is in our spreadsheet of the Switch first party, Switch and Switch 2 first party.
Hero.
Thank you, thank you. That's all I wanted. I have begun listing price at launch for all these things. Yeah, so that is one thing that makes it difficult. I would say that the other thing that makes this more conceptually difficult is that Nintendo has always had a sort of built-in budget option in terms of their handhelds, right?
Yeah.
That like every time they have a console where a new Nintendo 64 game is going to cost you $60, $70, $80, depending on the size of the cartridge, that there's a Game Boy out there where the games cost $20 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And that's always true. Even, you know, when like in the Wii U, when we had $60 games there, you go to your 3DS and get like a top shelf AAA 3DS game for $40.
Mm-hmm.
And they would never break that ceiling. They would be like, well, this game's $50, you know?
Yeah. I do feel like we, in more recent years, to my memory anyways, this isn't something that we saw from Nintendo as much as we've seen it recently, and that is them like playing with the price scale for things. You know, like a new WarioWare game is going to set you back $50. It's not going to set you back a full $60. It'll be interesting to see.
And they're both priced at $50.
And you know, like
of the Switch ones, I mean.
Yeah. And I hope if this is on your list, I can stop talking about it. We can I apologize, but Nintendo Switch Sports, you know, is like a $40 title if you buy it digitally, which is
it is
the
not
amount
on my
of
list,
content that is in that game is like crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what this looks like if that pattern holds in the Switch 2 era, and how the breadth of the scale in the Switch 2 era, when the highest can be the highest can be higher, but will the low still be in that like 50, 40? I mean, I've already forgotten, but how much did? Well, again, I won't talk about it because maybe it's
is it everybody 1-2 Switch?
No. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's because Drag and Drive is $20. That makes me think that like, yeah, they're going to continue to explore this scale. I just don't know how many of this like, you know, really bottom of the range where we're going to get as we go forward.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
But so yeah, I maybe grabbed too many to talk about. And I'm just going to delete Rusty's Real Deal Baseball from my list right now because that's tough to talk about how much that game costs.
Well,
is it on your list?
It is on my list. So
Okay,
I can talk about it at some point.
Why don't you kick it off? Then?
Oh, sure, yeah, okay.
Or I can go first if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my gosh, yeah, go ahead.
I went a little crazy. So if I say a game that you were going to say, tell me to shut up, and then
we could just talk about it together.
Okay, great. Tell me to shut up. So okay, and some of these games, so some of what I'm about to talk about are like re-releases or like collections or whatever, and like maybe that's why they're cheaper. But this game in particular, such a weird presence, and like it was bundled with another game, but could be purchased separately. So I'm counting it. Star Fox Guard on the Wii U. Which you would get if you bought the physical version of Star Fox Zero, at least at launch. I don't know if they continue to bundle those together forever. But also, why would they have like done a second printing of Star Fox Zero? Anyway, Star Fox Guard was $15. and was based on like a demo from like the early days of showing off the Wii U when they were like demoing game concepts over a year before the system launched, where you have like your TV screen is a bunch of monitors that are like guarding a fortress that's being invaded by little robots, and you use the screen on the gamepad to like select individual like screens that are on your TV, and like then you take control of a turret that's there. And so it's like a tower defense kind of game in the Star Fox universe. You play as Slippy Toad, who's helping out his uncle Grippy. Fantastic first appearance of Grippy Toad, and just like what a weird gameplay experience. Like paired with such a high-profile release,
right?
In the form of Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, do you think it feels to me? I'm gonna start all over. It feels to me like Star Fox Zero plus like having Star Fox Guard.
Yes.
In some ways was there like Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion. Like we are relaunching Metroid. We're relaunching Star Fox out there.
Yeah.
And people just did not take to it.
I don't know. I kind of wonder, and maybe we should like categorize for each of these like budget titles where it's like why was this cheap, right? Because I think sometimes the answer is it's a smaller game experience where the graphics aren't as flashy, and they just want to put out something like fun and easy for people to play. But I think in the case of something like Star Fox Guard, which again, $15, the weirdest price you'll ever see a video game priced at. Nothing's $15. I think they just like didn't have much of anything in either of these games, right? Like Star Fox Zero is hampered by a control scheme that is like, integral to how that game works and what's like interesting about it, but it's also like kind of broken, and then like makes the whole thing like married to that platform forever. And it was like a Miyamoto directed game. So like I think Star Fox Zero was just a game that had to come out and had to fail. And then they were like, well, just bundle it with Star Fox Guard, and at least people will see like a value proposition of like you get like two kind of okay games for the price of a full game.
And honestly, what I think happened with Star Fox Guard is that Nintendo talks about in their game development in general, they sometimes will come up with a concept or like a fun idea and then later figure out the characters that they're going to like associate with that idea.
And this one, I think we know that a little bit more explicitly because we had seen demos of this concept.
So and first of all, what a weird like time for Nintendo when they would have these E3s where they're like they didn't have anything. Yeah. They were just like, we just have these concepts that could become games in the future.
Right.
And then you have like
and now we're like, we haven't seen any gameplay of Kirby's Air Riders.
Right.
It's like, well, okay, but we know that's a game.
But yeah, so yes. Totally. I think you're right that they're like, how do we make this on both ends? How do we make Star Fox Guard, like feel like more of a thing? Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot that it was sold separately and that it was $15.
Yeah, it's very strange, and even in the like the version of Star Fox Zero that I have sitting on my shelf back there, it is like just Star Fox Zero in like a Wii U game case, and then Star Fox Guard in a different Wii U game case, and they were in like a slip sleeve together, like a cardboard slip sleeve. So like it feels like it's something that came together like kind of late. It was not sold as Star Fox Zero plus Star Fox Guard in a like Bowser's Fury kind of thing. So yeah, just a very strange sort of like panicky coming in hot thing towards the end of the Wii U's life when they were just like, get something out there,
If this happens to be the last time that we have like a new Star Fox thing, I'm glad that it introduced Grippy to the Star Fox canon before it went out.
Look, if we lived in a world without Grippy Toad, I don't know what we would do.
Life's hard enough.
Here's the thing. Grippy Toad also has a mustache. So he's got to be an aging frog.
He's got to be an aging frog. We'd have a lot to talk about.
We sure would, Mark. So yeah, that's my first. Star Fox Guard on the Wii U for $15.
So that's great. I am going to talk about Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. It is on my list.
Do it.
So this is a game that we have talked about a lot on the show in the past. It was a
Feels like not for a while though, right?
Yeah. It was a downloadable title for the Nintendo 3DS, and it was like a free to start game. It was really like one of Nintendo's first forays into this sort of experience. And the way they did it was so Nintendo and so specific. So, Rusty Slugger is a like failed baseball player. He's middle-aged, and now he's
a dog.
He's a dog. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Now he runs like a baseball memorabilia store.
Yes.
And so you're interacting with him. He, is stressed out about his kids and his wife and like all this kind of stuff. And but he will sell you 10 mini games throughout the course of the game.
Yes.
Throughout the course of the experience. And
all the prices start at $4.
Yeah, that's right. So the most that you could pay for this game
is $40.
So that's the most. But the least you could pay for it is $16. Because here's the thing.
Yes.
Rusty Slugger loves to haggle. And you can really get him down.
I don't know if he loves it.
His kids love to haggle, and he's susceptible to it.
His kids love to make him haggle.
Yeah.
And Rusty gets stressed out when you're like, how about $2? And he's like, oh, God, I don't know.
So, as you play the mini games, you get things like donuts and, or you get stamps that will then unlock things like donuts and, discount tickets and stuff like that. So of the 10 purchases, 6 can be haggled, and then 4 you can use discount tickets on. And so basically you can get the game down from $40, or if you engage with the haggling mechanics, which is part of the fun, and that the his kids really push you to do. Like, the game does not want you to pay $40.
Right. If you do say like, oh, I'm just gonna spend $40 on this, or even like, if you don't get the best deal, you have one of his kids assigned to you. That'll be like, hey, I bet Dad'll go lower. Like, the game, it will let you spend more, but it is not like trying to trick you.
Not at all. The game is like actively prompting you to make Rusty go lower for you to spend less money.
And when we say spend money, we mean like actual currency. Like this, it changes the amount that the games cost in dollars.
Or
whatever your currency of, like, it's not an in-game currency thing. It's real world money. And what's so interesting about like Rusty as a concept is like, all of these baseball mini games that you're buying from him really lean on the various features of the 3DS, right? There are gyroscope games where you're like catching a baseball by like moving the 3DS around. There's a lot of like the batting games that are based on like reading the 3D of it. There's a mode where you call balls and strikes, and that's all with like the touchscreen on the bottom. And so it is a showpiece for the specific features of the 3DS. And one of those features, for the first time on a handheld ever outside of the DSi, is a game shop where you can buy titles electronically. So like even that component, the like buying and haggling and all this kind of stuff, is a new feature of the hardware that the game is showing off.
Yeah, and this was released in 2014. So it was really early. Maybe Mario Kart 8 had done DLC at this point.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And maybe they had started. I'm not sure on the timeline exactly. Like, I can't say that this is like the first time Nintendo had done DLC or anything, but it was very early into them doing microtransactions and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it felt very much like the most Nintendo way to do it possible, where they're like, we're gonna let you haggle us down.
Right.
Like, we're gonna make that a mechanic of this.
Right. And the person that you're paying is like a fun little dog character
yeah.
who you love and whose life you make better by spending money at a store, right?
Yep.
Like they want you to feel good about it. But yeah, and so like in that way, Rusty's Real Deal Baseball becomes, as you say, a $16 game.
Yeah, if and there you can pay between 16 and 40.
Sure.
But 40 is the most you'll ever pay for it, and like if you put it in the work, you can pay only 16 to experience the whole game.
And the work is like playing the narrative
game
part of the right, like
and doing well in the mini games, like
doing well enough. You don't have to be like excellent at them,
no,
right?
It's true. It's true. Engaging with the mini games.
Yeah, that's right. But more than that, it is just like, yeah, it's just like enduring the narrative, and that makes it sound negative. Experiencing the narrative of the game, which I really like, and is something that I wish I could do now. But like, since I've already done it, and the 3DS eShop doesn't exist anymore.
It's sad that Rusty's Real Deal Baseball is just a remnant of the past. Yeah,
which in a lot of ways, I mean, Star Fox Guard is not quite that, because I still have a disc for it. I can pop it in and play it anytime. But that is a bummer. I feel the same way about Nintendo Badge Arcade, another 3DS free to start game, which was a little bit more on like the predatory side of like microtransactions. But I'm totally bummed that like that's not a game I can play anymore, even though I have it on my 3DS.
Yeah.
Well, okay, great. Of course, we were going to talk about Rusty, I guess, here. Now, back to me?
Yes, back to you.
Okay. And let me know if this is on your list. It's a Wii U game. It's a 3DS game. It's a Switch game. I'm talking, of course, about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Oh, yeah. Good pick.
A $40 game. So, like, higher on the high end for a budget title. But the reason I want to include it here is that, like, it is such a full, big game. If they were to introduce a Captain Toad Treasure Tracker now, like if it hadn't existed before, and they were just like, here it is now, 100% you'd be paying $60 for it. It's so long, it's so fun, it's so cute. It has 2-player modes. You play as Captain Toad or Toadette in these like sort of like puzzle platformers, but you can't jump kind of environments where you're spinning around the levels, like they're diorama boxes. They're just so inventive and full of so much personality. And it's kind of crazy that they only charge $40 for it.
I like there was a time when Captain Toad just had like a vice-like grip on everybody's consciousness, where it's like, yeah, it's available on the Wii U, but now we're porting it to the Switch, and also it's going to be on the 3DS.
Yeah.
Like Captain Toad putting in the work.
I wonder, are there other games that are on all 3 platforms?
Hyrule Warriors.
Great call. Yes, that is correct. Hyrule Warriors is one, but those 2 might be it. Also, Hyrule Warriors is basically unplayable on the 3DS. Is my
and
understanding.
I think, and only on the new 3DS. It's not even.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think it's a new 3DS exclusive. Yeah.
Because Yoshi's Woolly World never made it to Switch, right?
No, I don't think so.
There is a 3DS version. It's Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World, I believe is what they called it.
Right.
But anyway, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker in my mind is like a full Nintendo game, but it's $40.
With the Switch version, were you able to? I guess you couldn't. Like, did you buy the Switch version?
Yeah.
Oh, so did you buy it? Did you have to buy the DLC, or did it just come with extra levels?
No, I had to buy those.
Oh, okay.
It's like $6.99 or something like that. And it is not enough extra content. Like for spending money on it, they really should have done a little bit more, I think. But and there's also like hidden Luigi's or something in there. It's just not enough content, really. But yeah, I forgot that was part of that.
Yeah, and I'm never say never, but it's kind of sad that we never got more. Another shot at a Captain Toad standalone game where they could have blown it out even a little bit more.
Well, one of the things that is frustrating about Captain Toad on 3DS and Switch is that neither of them are as good as the Wii U version. Like, they built that game around the functionality of the Wii U, including like the touch screen in your hand and having like a separate screen. There are levels where you're in like a minecart, and on the gamepad it goes into like a first-person mode and you're shooting turnips. But if you look at the TV, you can see like where he is on the track. And like the best way to play it is to like consult both these screens and do that. And that's not a feature in either of the other versions.
Oh, really? The 3DS version doesn't do that?
No, it's all just on one screen. Because I think the 3DS version and the Switch version are basically the same thing.
I see.
And and then that there are those like platforms that you activate by tapping them, and that's just easier to do on the Wii U.
Well, maybe someday we'll get another 3D World style game, and they'll have some Captain Toad levels in
Maybe
there.
they will. Maybe they will.
That'd be fun.
Or if they just built one around the functionality of the Switch too, I think that'd be good.
Yeah. Mouse controls.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't like it, but yeah, why not? I've been playing a lot of Mario Paint the last couple days. I've just been writing pieces of music, sharing them occasionally in the Discord. And the mouse controls feel so slow. And I think it's a function of like it's translating the Super NES mouse like motion tracking to the Switch 2, the Joy-Con 2. But it's I hope that when we're playing like native Switch 2 stuff that the mouse controls feel more responsive.
Yeah, I feel like Metroid Prime 4 will be the first real big like showcase for a game that is all about mouse controls.
If we're not counting the budget title of Dragon Drive coming out next week.
Oh yes, right. I totally didn't forget about that.
Which is why we're talking about budget titles today.
My next pick is Super Mario Run.
Oh, yes!
The iOS and Android game, mobile game that was released with great fanfare before the Switch launched. Again, this was a time...
full court press on this.
Yeah, I mean, Miyamoto was at the Apple conference where this was announced. Like, this was a big deal because Nintendo was during the Wii U era, Nintendo was under so much investor pressure to get into mobile games. And they did it really begrudgingly, you could tell. But when they did it, they were like, we're going to make a big deal out of this with Super Mario Run. And it is a great game. When we were preparing for this episode, I downloaded it again. It hadn't been on my phone for a long time. And I was doing like Remix 10 and I had never done the like Star World that they added later. So Super Mario Run is $10, and occasionally it goes on sale for like sometimes during Mario Day it's like half off, so you could pick it up for like $5. And
that's the only possible transaction is buy the game or don't.
Yeah, and you can like start the game, and I think you can play like
the first 3
level
levels,
or something like that. And the first world maybe, and then it prompts you to buy the whole thing. This was of course very controversial when the game was released and got kind of like review bombed because people were so used to, you know, like a free-to-play game that had ads in it or something like that, and that just wasn't Nintendo style. And my personal opinion is that the reaction to Nintendo, like, charging $10 for it really soured them on mobile games where they're just like, oh, this is just not our audience.
Right,
this is just we don't want to do this.
Right. And it's also, like, it's such a shame. I played so much Super Mario Run that, like, it was an easily justifiable $10 purchase for me.
Absolutely, it's a really great game,
right?
And during the like when the Super Mario movie came out, and they were talking about how like there are places where Nintendo in the world where Nintendo games are not for sale.
Yes,
but this title is available pretty much everywhere and is a way for people with smartphones to be able to experience Mario. And I really do think you can play it with one hand. Mario runs by himself. You're really just controlling when he jumps and how long he jumps for, and how they were able to turn that into some really challenging and interesting platforming. It's a really good game. If you've never played it, it's really worth checking out. And if you have played it before but it's been a while, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, or if you picked it up and were like, what is this? And like walked away. A reaction I get, right? Because like you're used to having more control over Mario. You're used to like exploration in Mario games, and this isn't that. It is it's a score attack, like collect as many coins, kill as many enemies, and move as fast as you can kind of game. Like it feels very arcadey in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think the tour mode that has the 7 levels or whatever feels like a fairly traditional
that's true.
Mario game. There's a couple levels, you do an airship, and then there's like a like a boss, like a castle that you do. So I think it really
does
finding
secrets, right?
No, not really. I mean, there's like the classic 3 coins in every level.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All this to say, like, I feel like they do a very good job of translating Mario for like a traditional Mario experience into a more like they thought about how could we take Mario and make it a mobile game and not just a 1-for-1 thing.
Yeah, right. And not use like a virtual D-pad or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Super Mario Run.
The thing that occurred to me as you were talking about the like backlash to the price of this game, maybe Nintendo fans just don't like paying $10 for something. Because that was like the hullabaloo over Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Oh,
People were like, $10, this should be free.
yeah, that's
That's
funny.
what people said about Mario Run.
I mean, I honestly, my guess is that it was more the like hitting a general audience.
Yes.
That is, you know, mobile games. I think everybody's conditioned to I'm going to be able to play this for free, and I'm gonna have to sit through ads,
Right.
you know, to break this up. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for whatever reason, $10 does feel like an astronomical price to pay for an app on your phone. But it's weird though, because like Square Enix had been in that space with their like the iOS versions of like the Final Fantasy games
Right.
for years, and they sell those for like $40.
Yeah, I mean, one of the very first episodes we did of this show
Yes.
is called like $10 is a fair and noble price.
Yes.
Like, I think we've always been on
We
team.
have.
$10 is totally reasonable for an experience like this.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
We definitely have, and especially for a game that we like. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, my next pick, and I feel like this has a very real possibility of being one of yours. So again, tell me to shut up if it is. Snipper Clips.
Oh, it's not, but what a great one.
Snipper Clips, a launch game on the original Switch, launching at $19.99, $20. You know, not developed in-house by Nintendo, but certainly published by them, and, you know, must have been encouraged through its development cycle by Nintendo, because it uses the features of like the individual Joy-Cons so well. And like the little, you play as two little paper guys that are just like simple shapes, and you can rotate their bodies around in like a 2-player mode, and then overlap with each other and cut out shapes from the other player, and then you use those cut out shapes to perform like little puzzle challenges, moving balls from one area to the other. It's very like physics based. It's very like World of Goo in that way, right? Where you're like figuring out the rules of each individual level to accomplish a simple little task. But such a charming, wonderful little co-op puzzle game. And for $20, it's an absolute steal.
I have so many fond memories of playing Snipper Clips. It was the perfect. My husband and I, who my husband doesn't play video games basically at all. Just doesn't have any interest in them. But we would play Snipper Clips together.
Yes.
And it'd be so fun to be, you know, you're like up at the TV being like, no, cut, like rotate me here.
No,
and
you've gone
then
too far.
cut it-
You've gone too. Rotate back. Okay, no, go all the way around.
It's like that in like Overcooked or those perfect games
Yes.
where it's just like, you know, you go a little crazy. Everybody goes a little crazy, but just like the kind of like sneaky attitudes that the papers, you know, that like the
Yes.
shapes have, and the puzzles are so ingenious. And they came out with DLC for it that I sadly never really put any time into.
Oh, it's good.
And you can play with up to 4 people, can't you?
You can play with 4 people now.
Man.
I don't think you could at the beginning.
Oh,
but
okay. Maybe
yeah.
that was part of the DLC. But
Yeah.
anyways, even just talking about it makes me want to get Snipper Clips out again and mess around with it. What a great game.
Snipper Clips is a great it's a great like surprise party game where you're like, oh, I have like a couple people here that like might be interested in playing a game together. We can play Snipper Clips, and because the levels are like single screen experiences, like you can do one of them,
Yeah.
and if people aren't vibing with it, then you can do something else. But also, every time I've done it, you play until you like run out of puzzles, right? Like everyone loves Snipper Clips. It's just a compelling experience.
That's so good.
And $20. I mean, come on.
My next pick.
People don't mind paying $20. It's $10 they won't pay.
Yeah, that's right. My next pick is Metroid Prime Remastered, which was released in 2023. It was a $40
Mhm.
game, and it was like a surprise drop. So it was happening in a February Nintendo Direct in 2023, and it was like Metroid Prime Remastered is here. It's $40, and you can download it right now.
Right, and physical versions are coming out later.
Right, and Metroid Prime Remastered is in a lot of ways it really kind of like straddles the line between a remaster and a remake, because they redid all of the art assets. Like the game looks so much better when you can then it looks like you remember it looking, not what it actually looked like on the GameCube.
And it controls so much better
It
than
controls
it did on GameCube.
great. It reminded me what a fun game it is. I think it's, like it drags a little bit at the end, and when you're like
There's
returning
some-
to
yeah,
areas you already went to, and like all
Some
that kind of
unfortunate
stuff.
backtracking there, yeah.
But like the first 10 hours of that game are just bliss.
Yes.
And for $40 I was shocked at the price then, and still remain kind of surprised that it was a $40 release that in some ways they just kind of like tossed out there, because
Right.
I feel like they could have really like built up the hype for it. I mean, Mario versus Donkey Kong was a $50 game,
I know.
and so the Metroid Prime Remastered was 40. Honestly, it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me.
It is. It's totally shocking. Also totally shocking, an entry on my list is when they released the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii U eShop.
Oh my
Do you
gosh,
remember
that's
this?
right.
So they released Metroid Prime trilogy, so that's 1, 2, and 3, all with the Wii pointer controls, and the regular price for them, Mark, was $19.99 is what they were selling Wii games for.
Uh-huh.
$20 for 3 Metroid Prime games.
That is crazy.
The week that it launched, they were selling it for half price.
It was a $10 game.
Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii U eShop was a $10 release. at
That
launch.
is crazy. I mean, even $20.
Even
is
$20
crazy.
is less than $7 a game. Yes.
Wow.
So like it's an absolutely bonkers thing that like what it seems to, it doesn't compute. I don't know what to say about it. It's so cheap.
Do you think that in and of itself is why it never got ported to Switch? Because they're
Possibly.
like, there's no way we're selling this for $20 again. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
no
mean-
way we're gonna port it to Switch and
Yeah.
then sell this for $20. And since we did that on the Wii U, like we
Right.
can't charge $60 for it.
They could charge more though, because
Right.
they Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was $50 on Wii U, and then
Yeah, that's
sold
true.
for 60
That's true.
on Switch.
But you're
So.
right. That is crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's like legitimately one of those things where you're like, hold on, is that true? I had to go back and watch the Nintendo Direct where it was announced, because I was like, I have a vague memory of them being cheaper when like the week it came out, but like, yeah, it's like right there, $10 for 3 Metroid Prime games.
The only thing I can think of that makes sense is that I guess they are like, they weren't HD games, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
but that is crazy.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was $20 or
Let alone
Let alone
$10
10.
for a very brief period.
yeah.
Yeah, and so that is also weird how they treat Metroid Prime as a like budget title, or they have for the last 10 years,
Yeah.
15 years. However, I don't know when they came out on the Wii U, but probably about 10 years. But that like they have yet to test Metroid Prime as a franchise at $60. And like they will,
Right.
when 4 comes out.
Yeah.
But I guess like the other games that would fall in that window would be like Federation Forces, and that was on 3DS, $40 there. So strange to me that they don't price these things the way they price everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
What's going on?
The mystery of Metroid Prime Remastered in general is kind of interesting, like the fact that it exists. I think the broader story that has come out, at least in rumors, is that Retro was working on this, and then when Metroid Prime 4 kind of went belly up, that Nintendo was like, you guys should take this over, and that Metroid Prime Remastered was maybe going to be the kind of like rubric that another studio would take over to remake 2
Right.
and 3, but
but then that never happened. and-
seemingly, yeah.
but it all gets like kind of messed around by the weirdness of the release dates of all these things,
Right.
Where like Metroid Prime Remastered came out, what it was
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
And like we knew about Metroid Prime 4 summer of 2017 initially.
Was it 7? Oh
It
my
was-
gosh,
it
you're
was
right, 'cause
the
then it
first
was
year.
19 that they
Yeah.
rebooted it.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
So like yeah, I don't know. It's all just crazy.
It is
And, like,
crazy.
we will never know what happened with Metroid Prime 4 the original version of it. And until Metroid Prime 4 Beyond actually comes out, like almost don't believe it exists, but I do believe it exists.
Open the door with mouse controls.
Oh no. All right, so yeah, Metroid Prime Trilogy was on my list of like I because it's a Wii U eShop, like a virtual console game. I don't know if it actually like counts, but like here was a moment of like extreme value from Nintendo.
Yeah, my gosh, crazy.
But so are you done?
I have
more?
so
Okay.
I have one more concept to talk about.
Okay, let me do one more specific.
Okay.
Because it's another one where like it feels like kind of a wedge concept. Like do we count this or not?
Okay.
3D Classics Kid Icarus.
Oh.
On the 3DS, a $6 game is just Kid Icarus, but is like a playable version of Kid Icarus that's more beautiful and, like I said, playable in a way that the original NES version just isn't.
Do you remember what NES games on the 3DS Virtual Console were going for? Was it like $4 or was it the same price as like if you wanted to buy Kid Icarus on the NES?
I think they were $4.99, so I think this was $1 more. But like it's worth the dollar.
Yeah, that is like value.
Yes.
For $1 you could buy like I guess maybe at that point on the 3DS. I don't know. I don't know if on the Virtual Console on the 3DS you could buy the NES version of Kid Icarus.
It's a great question.
But if you could, for $1 more, yeah, you should 100% get the 3DS like classic version.
The 3D Classics.
The 3D classic version. And whether it was like a bargain or not, it's a good value.
Yes, that's right. It is a good value. Well, and it's the kind of thing that made me, and they did a couple of these, right? They did like Excite Bike and I think Urban Champions and like a handful of others. But like Kid Icarus, the 3D Classics treatment made the game, it like added a little bit of like a wing flutter to Pit's jump. It created like backgrounds for the area, so it wasn't just like pitch black behind him. There was like a very clear save feature, so you didn't have to rely on passwords. The menus and maps were way more legible. It's the kind of thing where I'm like, do this to all the NES games. Make them all just a little like they're classics and I love them, but like just go through and be like, hey, this wasn't perfect. Let's make this perfect.
Ice Climber 3D Classic.
Honestly, even The Legend of Zelda, like a legit classic, you can make it better by applying the 3D Classics filter to it.
Yeah, we played the 3D Classics version or I did anyways.
Yeah.
For when we did Kid Icarus month.
Yes.
And I had so much fun with it. Like, it was a real surprise how good that game is with just those little bit of fixes.
Yep, just little itty bitty fixes. A second draft, or like the kind of stuff that would have been like patched in later if the game had been released 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, that's my pitch here. $6 for 3D Classics.
Yeah, totally worth it. Totally worth it. So my last like concept, I guess, it's not a specific game, but I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Selects line of games that existed. You know, it started out as Player's Choice during the Super Nintendo and Game Boy era. And first, they would apply this like Player's Choice level to games that sold over 1 million copies. And during the GameCube era, they lowered that down to 250,000 copies. But the idea behind Nintendo, and this lasted all the way through the 3DS era and the Wii U, but ended with the Switch, is that when something became a Nintendo Selects, you only paid $20 for it.
Yes.
$19.99.
Right. A permanent price drop, and then like new box art, basically in like the form of like the color of the case changed. But it meant that like that game would never be full price again.
Yeah, I picked up so many 3DS games and GameCube games that were these like Nintendo Selects.
God, I wish they would do this again.
Oh my, yeah, totally. And it's the complete opposite of how Nintendo treats their first party games now, where they're like, these are forever full price.
Right.
And we will maybe present different ways, like these vouchers or whatever, that you can get a discount on these full price games. And occasionally
for a little while.
And things will go on sale.
Yes.
But never. $20, a permanent price drop, and you're picking up, you know, like they were $50 games instead of like $60 or $70 games. But it was an amazing time.
Yes.
Such a beautiful time, the Nintendo Selects line.
Well, and like really, and I know like it sells so well and continues to be like a relevant game today. So there's no reason to make Breath of the Wild a $20 game, right?
Right.
Like from their perspective, it's not hurting for not being $20. But like they've already made whatever money they need to make from Breath of the Wild. Sell it for $20.
Right. Or like, look, yeah, sure. Breath of the Wild, maybe with the Switch 2, they didn't want to do that. But you're telling me Tropical Freeze couldn't drop
Right.
to $20? You're telling me like Mario Tennis Aces shouldn't be $20 at this point?
Or like ARMS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Splatoon 2. Who cares?
Right.
Right? Like put these games out at like levels where people can like impulse buy them and be like, oh, I never picked that up. Or people grabbing Switches for the first time or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy that they're not embracing the Nintendo Selects concept anymore.
And I mean, I don't think anybody does it really this way. Sega had their program.
Yeah, that's true.
I think maybe even like PlayStation and Microsoft
PlayStation
had like
definitely
a
did,
version of it at some time. And companies don't really do this anymore. But I know that during the GameCube era, there were games that I picked up because they were $20.
Yeah.
Like I could afford to waste $20 on a game I didn't know that much about or whatever.
Right.
So
Just don't charge 10. People won't buy that. I also have like a concept that I want to just shout out here. Box Boy, the whole Box Boy series.
Yeah,
There are 4 of these games. 3 of them are on 3DS and 1 is on Switch. And they're just weird little puzzle platformer style games. They're in black and white. You can change like outfits and hats and stuff. But they're always like $10. And it's just one of those like they set out to release a cheap game, and like whatever budget constraints that they like ran up against, they're just like, okay, great, now put the game out.
Yeah.
And they're charming and they're fun to play. So like, yeah, let's.
Great call out.
Yeah.
Great call out.
Do you have any more? I have 2 more things to shout out.
No, that's it for me.
Okay, so another one here is a game that you and I both paid $60 for, but the rest of the world, I don't know, probably a lot of people bought it physically in this like special package. But I'm referring to Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Was a $30 game. Great, perfect. And also, while we're on the topic, NES Remix Volumes 1 and 2 on Wii U, those were also $20 games.
Oh.
So like. And all of this is like a recontextualization of classic NES games in the form of so for Nintendo World Championships it's like speedrun challenges, and in Remix they're like discrete like bits of these games, sometimes remixed with like different physics or different characters or different specific goals, but yeah, always cheap, always affordable, these things. And when you release a game like that, you can also sell it with like some postcards and a fake NES cart and charge us full price.
That's
and
right.
We'll say thank you. So that, and then the last thing I wanted to shout out as like a true budget title, isn't free. You did have to pay for it, but not with dollars, but with platinum points. I'm referring to My Nintendo Picross: The Legend of Zelda - Twilight Princess for the 3DS. A version of Picross where all the puzzles are themed around The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. You could only get it with platinum points, or silver points, or whatever they were called at the time. And it was great. It was a super fun version of Picross. Great music.
I will never be able to experience that.
Some of these budget things are locked behind those digital gates that have now closed forever.
Yeah, just lost to time.
Okay, so that's budget Nintendo first party titles. Is there any do you have any hopes for the future as we go forward that we'll see other budget stuff? Obviously Dragon Drive is one of those right now, but the other Nintendo games that we see on the horizon, like the Tamagotchi Life game or Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven might be a $50 game. I think that's
Yeah,
possible.
it could be. It could be. Like in the same way WarioWare is.
Yeah. But I don't think 40. Like I think the rest of the games are going to be $60 or $70.
Yeah, I even just in talking about this today, I'm reminded that Nintendo really likes to surprise us. Like I said, it wasn't on our list, but Nintendo Switch Sports is like a $40 game,
right?
If you bought it digitally, and so, I do think that in the Switch 2 era, we will continue to see them surprise us with games all over the price scale.
And I mentioned Everybody Want to Switch earlier. That was a $30 game, right?
Yeah.
The Game Builder Garage was a $30 game. So they did explore like that space quite a bit. And sometimes it's for a game that you have. There's no reason for you to have interest in playing Everybody Want to Switch, right? But is it more or less playable than the original 1-2 Switch, which was a $60 game? Up for debate, So yeah, just a very interesting seeing them explore this scale.
Also, let us know, listeners, if there are a bunch of titles that we didn't talk about that you can think of that you really liked, or were great examples of Nintendo doing something weird with pricing.
Yes, because we are always interested in that kind of thing. All right, Mark, let's close this out. And that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Patrice Millette, Kyle Seaborn, Drew Mackey, and James Haig. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone who is listening to the show or interacting with us in any way. One of the ways that you can interact with us is, of course, on Discord. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and we will send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.